Imagine this. You're at a family gathering, and out of nowhere, a relative or your friend makes a remark that feels like a personal attack. Your heart races, your muscles tense up, and before you know it, words slip out of your mouth. Words you might regret later. This is a scenario we've all faced. Moments when emotions take over and reactions feel uncontrollable. But what if you could handle those moments differently? What if, instead of being driven by a wave of emotions, you stayed calm, clear-headed, and controlled? This is not just wishful thinking. It's what the Stoics mastered thousands of years ago. Today, we're diving into the Stoic principles that teach us the power of not reacting, how to control your emotion and live a life of tranquility. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll learn practical, timeless wisdom that can transform how you handle life's toughest challenges. You'll walk away with actionable steps rooted in Stoicism that will help you stay composed, no matter the chaos around you. Let's get started. The Stoics, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, taught that our emotions don't control us. Instead, they believed that we have the power to decide how we react to any situation. This idea forms the foundation of emotional mastery. Stoicism teaches that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Let's break that down with a simple example. You're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Most people would feel a surge of frustration, maybe even panic. But a Stoic would pause and ask, is my anger changing the situation? Does it help to stress about something outside my control? The answer is no. The Stoics remind us that while we can't control traffic, we can control how we respond to it. This is where true power lies. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. This concept is simple, but profound. There are things we can control and things we cannot. The Stoics believed that the key to happiness is focusing only on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. Think about it. Can you control the weather? No. Can you control someone else's behavior? No. But you can control your thoughts, your reactions, and your perspective. When you focus on what's within your control, your own actions, thoughts, and feelings, you gain freedom. You're no longer a slave to external circumstances. The next time you find yourself reacting emotionally to something beyond your control, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this something I can change? If not, let it go. This simple shift can drastically reduce stress and help you maintain a clear, calm mind. Let's take a real-life example from one of the greatest Stoics, Marcus Aurelius. As a Roman emperor, Marcus faced constant pressure, challenges, and even betrayal. Despite this, he kept his composure. In his personal journal, Meditations, he wrote about how to remain calm in the face of adversity, reminding himself daily that he could only control his own actions and thoughts. He would begin each day expecting to face difficulties, whether it was from people or circumstances. But instead of reacting with anger or frustration, he saw these challenges as opportunities to practice patience, humility, and self-control. This mindset is a perfect example of how Stoic philosophy can help us master our emotions. When we react out of anger, fear, or frustration, we often make the situation worse. Imagine lashing out at a friend in a moment of anger. It might feel like a release, but in the long run, it damages trust, hurts relationships, and leaves you feeling regretful. The Stoics believed that reacting impulsively often leads to unnecessary suffering. Instead, they taught that we should take a step back, observe our emotions, and choose a response that aligns with reason, not impulse. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, compared reacting emotionally to a wildfire. Easy to start, but hard to control. Once it spreads, it can destroy everything in its path. including your peace of mind. But by controlling your initial reaction, you can prevent that fire from spreading. One of the most effective tools in controlling your emotions is the simple act of pausing. When something triggers you, don't react immediately. Instead, take a deep breath, give yourself a moment, and ask, is this worth my energy? What's the best way to respond? Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, taught that between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response, and in our response lies our growth and freedom. Pausing doesn't mean avoiding a situation or bottling up emotions. It means giving yourself the opportunity to respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. This is a habit that can be developed through practice and mindfulness. Dealing with criticism and conflict. A Stoic approach, criticism and conflict are inevitable. But how we deal with them determines whether they control us or we control them. The Stoics taught that when we're criticized, it's an opportunity to practice humility and self-improvement. Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for it is the truth I seek, and the truth never harmed anyone." Instead of reacting defensively to criticism, use it as a tool for growth. Ask yourself, is there truth in this feedback? If so, use it to improve. If not, let it go. Not every criticism deserves your energy. In conflicts, the Stoics remind us that we cannot control how others act, but we can always control our own behavior. Responding calmly with reason not only helps resolve the conflict, but also keeps you grounded and in control of your emotions. The power of anticipation. One of the most powerful tools the Stoics used to control their emotions was premeditation of evils, a practice where they mentally prepared themselves for challenges they might face. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, would start each day by reminding himself that he would likely encounter rude, selfish, or inconsiderate people. By anticipating these interactions, he was less likely to be caught off guard by them. Now let's apply this to everyday life. You're heading into a stressful meeting, or maybe you're about to have a difficult conversation with a friend. By mentally preparing yourself for how things might go wrong, you create a buffer against emotional overwhelm. You're ready for the unexpected, and when things don't go smoothly, instead of reacting impulsively, you stay calm. This simple practice can transform how you approach life's inevitable challenges. Here's the hard truth. When we react impulsively, we often create more problems for ourselves. Have you ever sent a text in anger, only to regret it moments later? Or reacted harshly to a friend, then spent hours feeling guilty? The Stoics understood this emotional cost. Seneca, one of the great Roman Stoic philosophers, wrote extensively about anger. He described it as a form of temporary madness, an emotion that clouds judgment and leads to destructive actions. Seneca advised that the best course of action when we feel anger rising is to delay our response. Even a brief pause can prevent us from saying or doing something we'll regret. In today's world, this is more relevant than ever. With social media and instant communication, we're constantly tempted to respond immediately. But remember, you don't have to. It's often better to wait, to let the initial surge of emotion pass before deciding how to respond. This pause, this moment of reflection, is where your power lies. Detaching from outcomes. A central theme in Stoic philosophy is detachment from outcomes. The Stoics teach us that while we can control our actions, we can't control the results. This can be a tough pill to swallow in a world that emphasizes success and achievement. But Stoicism asks us to shift our focus from the outcome to the process. Let's explore this further with a real-life scenario. Imagine you've been working hard on a project for months, and you're hoping for recognition or promotion. But despite your efforts, things don't go as planned. You're passed over, or the project fails. The natural emotional response would be frustration, disappointment, or even resentment. But the Stoic response is different. The Stoics would remind us that our job is to give our best effort, not to guarantee success. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By detaching from the outcome, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster of success and failure. Your peace of mind no longer depends on external factors. It's rooted in your own actions and attitude. This perspective shift is liberating. It allows you to work hard, pursue goals, and strive for excellence without being crushed by failure or inflated by success. You remain steady, calm, and resilient no matter what happens. Stoicism teaches us to see things from a broader perspective. Often we react emotionally because we're too close to the situation. But what if you could zoom out and see the bigger picture? Let's say you're in a disagreement with a colleague. In the moment, it feels like the most important thing in the world. But if you step back and look at the bigger picture, you might realize that the argument isn't worth your peace of mind, and resolving it calmly is far more beneficial in the long run. By practicing this shift in perspective, you'll find that many things that once bothered you seem trivial when you view them from a higher vantage point. Stoicism in relationships are often where our emotions are most tested. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a colleague, conflicts can bring out strong reactions. The Stoic approach to relationships is all about maintaining emotional balance, especially when tensions rise. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This rings especially true in relationships. How often have we imagined slights or offenses where there were none? How many times have we reacted to perceived criticism that wasn't intended? By learning to pause and reflect before reacting, we can avoid unnecessary conflict and preserve harmony. Let's consider a common scenario. You receive a text message from a close friend that feels dismissive or cold. Your first instinct might be to feel hurt or angry. But before you react, stop and ask yourself, is this worth reacting to? Could there be another explanation for their tone? Most times, the answer is yes. By delaying your reaction and seeking clarification instead of jumping to conclusions, you not only save yourself emotional stress, but also strengthen the relationship. Mastering your emotions with Stoicism. At the heart of Stoicism is the belief that you have the power to control your emotions. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but learning how to respond in ways that serve you rather than harm you. By focusing on what you can control, pausing before reacting, and gaining perspective, you can navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. Imagine a life where you're no longer pulled in every direction by your emotions, where you face conflict with calm, and where you live with a sense of inner peace, no matter the external circumstances. This is the gift of Stoicism, and it's available to all of us. If you found this video helpful and want to continue learning how to apply Stoic wisdom to your life, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Join our community, and let's continue this journey toward emotional mastery together. Remember, controlling your emotions isn't about being emotionless, it's about being in charge of how you respond. Stay stoic, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.